Hey everyone, so I promised I would video my recovery this time and I'm gonna try and keep to my promise. It is day, oh my god, what day is it today? It's Friday. My surgery was on Wednesday, so on day 2, is that right? Yeah, day 2. I was holding the camera up to the window because the light's kind of starting to go, but yeah, my arm was hurting. So I better sit down and do it again. But anyway, yeah, so I'm on day 2 and it's been hard, if I'm not gonna lie. It just feels so sore, like the bruises really hurt, and particularly like around my back. The problem is you have to drink like 2.5 to 3 litres of water a day, which I do, but it's like you don't want to go to the toilet because it hurts. Like, oh my god, sitting like on the toilet seat is so painful, it's unreal. Like the compression that I got put into straight after the surgery were the ones from my first surgery, and they cut a hole in like the crotch area so that you could go to the toilet easily. So I used those ones again, so I've been wearing those for the first, so I wore those like all day Wednesday obviously after the surgery, and then all day Thursday when I came home, and then I didn't change out of them until today, so it sounds pretty disgusting. It was so helpful because most of the time I actually just stood up to go to the toilet. I used like the Shiwi. If you don't get one of those, like you need to get one, especially for the surgery, because it's impossible to go to the toilet, like it just hurts so much. Regarding like going to the toilet for the other thing, like I know I'm getting graphic here, but I feel like this is why everyone's gonna watch the video to like know the truth, the real truth. But I get really constipated. So yeah, I haven't actually been to the toilet yet. Normally like 5 days in or something, but this happens to me every single time and I don't know why. I don't know if it's like the anaesthetic or something. Regarding the like actual recovery, it's so bizarre when you come round, when you're lying on the operation table and you're kind of thinking, right, like Dr.Burgos is saying, well, you're gonna relax now, you're gonna go to a nice sleep, and I'm like thinking, I don't feel that sleepy. And then it just hits you, like literally hits you, and you just feel so drowsy, and then I don't remember anything else, I just remember waking up, so I obviously fell asleep. One of my biggest fears for the first operation was like waking up like during the operation. I don't know why I had that fear, but I don't know if anyone else has that fear, but yeah, I was so worried about that. So I was thinking like, give us more. Like, so I'm definitely knocked out. And then when I came round, you're just really tired, like so sleepy. Like I can sort of remember like opening my eyes, looking at the nurses, and then just physically not being able to keep my eyes open any longer for like more than 3 seconds. Your eyes just feel so heavy that you just keep like drifting back into like, I would say almost like unconsciousness, like again, like back to sleep. And I presume it's the anaesthetic like wearing on and off until you're like fully awake. But that time is almost like euphoric. I don't know if that's the right word, but when I fall back to sleep at that time, it feels so good. It's the best sleep of your life. So yeah, you don't even have to worry about that because that bit is fine. And I did wake up and I remember thinking, like I remember opening my eyes thinking like, oh my god, I'm in pain. But they came straight over as soon as I woke up and they were like, hi, are you in pain? And I said, yeah. And then they just gave me something, and honestly I was just knocked straight back out again. Can't remember anything else. And then I remember waking back up again, still in recovery, but having no pain at all. I was so comfortable. So it literally lasts like for 2 seconds, and it's not like you're gonna wake up screaming like, oh my god, I'm in so much pain. Like it's not really like that. You're so tired that like your body can't even really be bothered like with the pain. So that's my experience anyway. Obviously it's personal, isn't it, to each to their own. I'm actually just looking at my face in the camera and I'm like, my face is so chubby. Yeah, the anaesthetic makes me so puffy, like particularly here, but like here, I would say that I normally have like quite a big like bag, but everything is just so puffed out, like my lips, like everything. really weird, but like obviously I had acne when I was younger, so I've got loads of like acne scars, but everything just like smooths out. It's amazing. So yeah, one good side effect of the anaesthetic definitely for me was how smooth it made my skin. And then for me, when I got wheeled back into the room, I remember thinking, please don't be sick, please don't be sick, because the past 2 times I have been so sick, it's unreal. Literally puked my guts up for like, the first time I think it was like 2 days. I think it might have lasted like nearly a full 48 hours, I'm not even exaggerating. And then the second time was like not as bad, like about just over a day. And then this time I was like, it happened for like 2 hours, where I wasn't sick at all, and I was in the room and I was thinking, oh my god, like I'm not gonna be sick, this is amazing. And I felt so good but so sleepy. Again, just like couldn't keep my eyes open, was so tired, so I was just in and out of sleep pretty much for the first like maybe 2-3 hours, and then I was sick. It was my own fault, because I was thinking, right, I feel mint, like I'm gonna go look at my phone, and then as soon as I started moving my head about and trying to read things on my phone, I felt so ill and just puked everywhere. So, but I was only sick 3 times over the course of about 8 or 9 hours, and if I was really careful and didn't move my head too much, I didn't feel sick. So I would say it was like 80% better than the other times, which is like a huge improvement for me, because mentally that was the hardest part always for me. Like the sickness was just horrific. Couldn't even lift my head up without puking, so that was no fun. But so yeah, like it was just so good, and when I woke up feeling like really happy and like fine. And then I was discharged. Dr. Burgos came to see me. It was about maybe like midday or something. I've got the worst memory ever, so I'm just telling you like my timeline of things that go on in my head. He said he was really pleased, and I seemed like fine to be discharged. I felt really good in myself. I could walk, everything was absolutely fine. So I got ready, took all of my dark clothes with me, had like a really big baggy black top, and baggy like black trousers, and I got these fake Crocs from Primark that were like £5, because I just begrudge paying like 40 quid for a pair of Crocs that I will probably never wear because I hate them. But they are the best thing, because your feet really do swell. I took a pair of sliders the first time, and I had to cut them to get my feet in. So my advice is get the Crocs. It's the only shoe that's gonna fit your foot probably. I got in a taxi, just used Uber. Like I just used the Uber app everywhere for Madrid. It's really good and really cheap. But I put our old apartment address in. I actually can't believe that I did this, but the apartment that we stayed in the last time, I put that address in. Like we got there and I was thinking, this just looks like where we stayed last time. And it was. The Uber driver made us get out as well. So I was like, oh, for God's sake. So we had to get out, and I was just sitting on the curb, like on my bag, thinking, I just want nothing more than to be back at the apartment right now and have to book another Uber. We were actually 20 minutes away from the other apartment. So yeah, that wasn't too fun, but stupid, like it's just a stupid mistake. So we finally got back to the apartment, and I feel like that day was like a bad day for me. Like I was fine leaving the hospital and stuff, felt really good leaving the hospital. But the day just felt so long, and literally felt like it went on forever. That was when like the bruising started, and I kind of got comfortable on the sofa, but I've noticed that the less I move, the more it hurts. So I was like lying on the sofa for quite a while and just became so stiff that even just getting up, like I couldn't even physically lift myself up. I had to ask my mum to like hold my hands and lift me up. Yeah, so I think your companion is important, because you need somebody who is like physically gonna look after you. Like in the hospital, I could not get out of the bed to use the toilet. For the first few hours I used like the bedpan, which I just hate using the bedpan. I stink because I always, like I know this is disgusting, but I always end up weeing all over myself. Like I try not to, and like I've got the shee-wee, so it fits like round you perfectly. But when you've got no energy, you're trying to like lift yourself up and hold the thing in place, and like, it's not very dignified. Like, the person who's looking after you is trying not to look, but you just, everything's out and you just, yeah, it's not really that fun. Sorry for the graphic detail, but I'm just trying to be honest. And I always end up basically just stinking. And whenever I go for my MLD, I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sorry that I smell, because I end up wearing that pair of compression until you go for your first manual lymphatic drainage. They wrap you up in like loads and loads and loads of bandages before you leave the hospital, before you even leave the operating room, to be honest. You wake up wrapped up like a mummy in your compression with all your bandages wrapped around you. And with this like tiny little hole that you can pee from, that like it's really, really hard not to get it on yourself. So if that happens to you, don't feel too bad, because it happened to me. Whether that happens to everyone and I've just shared far too much, I have no idea, but I don't care. But yeah, there's that. And then I just didn't sleep at all yesterday. The nights are the worst, I'm not gonna lie. The nights feel so long, it's ridiculous. And it's kind of lonely because you're awake and nobody else is, do you know what I mean? Even though I'm physically absolutely exhausted, because I've done nothing all day, my brain just won't switch off. So for me, I just physically can't sleep, it's impossible. So the night is always really, really long for me and just really hard work, and it's always when I get the most pain as well. I did manage to fall asleep, I think it was about midnight, I managed to fall asleep for like 3 hours, and I woke up at 3 o'clock, and because you've been lying in one position for so long, I just felt so unbelievably stiff and sore, and I get this like really weird pressure build up in my heel, like in my foot. I'm not sure if that happens to anybody else, but it's happened to me every time. It happened in the hospital as well. If I ever fell asleep, I would always get this like really weird like pressure on my like heel or my foot, the bottom of my foot, which is like so painful. I ended up taking some painkillers. I always just leave everything by my bed because I just think it's like good to have it handy. So I took some painkillers and then I ended up falling back to sleep, and I woke up about 5 o'clock again, and I just couldn't get back to sleep, and my legs had swelled so unbelievably much that the bandages were like cutting into my knee area. So I actually thought it was best to take them off, so I did actually take my bandages off. I had my MLD booked in for 11 o'clock anyway, and they take them off then anyway, so it was only a few hours before, but it was just really uncomfortable, so just used my own judgment and removed them. About 6 o'clock in the morning, I felt a bit like sick, dizzy, like just obviously my blood pressure must have been low. Dr.Burgos always says make sure that when you've been lying down, you sit first. So I would always just sit like on the edge of the bed like this for a few seconds, wait till I feel all right, and then I would stand up and then sit back down and then stand up again for like a few seconds before I would walk, just to see like how I feel. So I did that, and I went and had a coffee, and so I did feel a lot better when I had like my morning coffee and everything. And then I managed to pull myself around to actually have a wash, and you do just feel genuinely disgusting because you can't be bothered. So this is now today, and this was this morning, so it's Friday morning I'm talking about, and my surgery was Wednesday. So I did have a shower before I went to the hospital, but I hadn't had a shower in 2 days. Still haven't had a shower, but I've had a wash. And it is hard because you feel like you still don't really feel that clean, to be honest, but I just try and take things that really help like me feel fresh. So like I really wash my face with like loads of cleanser, I take loads of like nice face masks, and just kind of like pamper myself a little bit, because you know, you've got all the time in the world. I mean, unless people are working from home, but I've actually taken time off work, so just to focus on recovering. So I've just been kind of pampering myself, really. Yeah, but physically it is hard and it's very tiring, but mentally, like, it's really hard just to like get through the day and just think like, right, get through this day and then get through tomorrow, and then it like gradually gets better. But it's about 4 o'clock, 4:30 on Friday, and so far I'm feeling, today's been a much better day, so I would say I'm feeling okay. Yesterday was really hard. Like, you definitely need support and stuff for somebody to just tell you like, no, you definitely can do it. And everything will be fine. and yeah, and today's been better.